Let me see here. So before we go into the next topic, I should probably share this real quick. Let's go with that. Some new info here. There we go. Okay, Resident Evil 4 Requiem screenshots.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
On Switch too.
In handheld mode too. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right. They do have it to where you can play the demo, right?
It is at TGS. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I could. Nah, when I tried to zoom in, it just tried to go a little closer. But I'll retweet this in case anyone wants to see it in good detail. But one thing we've noticed, and it's been talked about a little bit, is the hair. Right, the hair looks a little.
Frizzy.
Yeah, and again, this is not something for me that affects gameplay or breaks immersion or would get a lower review score because their hair doesn't look great.
Also, you can play it in first person.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm from the era of SmackDown where Triple H's hair is floating in the air. I think I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. we grew up on WCW versus NWO World Tour and Revenge. Yeah.
What excites me
and the gameplay is amazing on those games.
Right.
What excites me the most is they're very clearly playing the same demo we played.
Yep.
So that means I know everything they experienced. So all they had to do, the fact that they told me, look, obviously it looks good for starters, for handheld play here. But they said it runs smooth and they didn't notice any frame rate dips. Obviously, this is just one person's opinion, of course, but this is in handheld where it would probably struggle the most. So that already makes me very excited that this is a really high quality port. And guys, it's $10 cheaper on Switch 2, which is crazy.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know, but it might convince some people to pick up the Switch 2 version.
Right.
Yeah. So pretty awesome. Good to see that it's looking good. I was excited for that. I don't know if we'll get gameplay footage at some point. Because again, like we weren't allowed to get gameplay footage.
And they're not either.
However, I found gameplay footage of exactly what we did at PAX.
Oh my! Someone snuck footage. Oh, geez, now I'm not surprised.
It's direct feed.
Oh, is it media? Is it a media thing?
It's on YouTube.
It might be a media session then. They might have had permission for it.
Don't know, but it's exactly what we did. So
that's weird. Then why would they let us record? I don't know. That's weird. That to me, it's just weird because here the person does. Nate the Hate asked them in the comments on that tweet, any off-screen footage, and they said that no one was allowed to record. So they still have like the same policies there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I also wonder how they feel about recording in the dark.
We also couldn't take. Yeah, they took pictures. We weren't even allowed to do that.
Yeah, they said if they saw any phones out, you'd be instantly kicked out.
And this person clearly was allowed to take photos, and they're clearly in a dark room. You can see how dark it is around them.
Yeah, so we could have used. Michaela could have used the disposable camera that we had, probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're thinking about using that because it said no phones to take pictures.
The flash goes up, blinds the whole room. She probably would have got tackled.
Right.
Yeah, probably.
They were very adamant about no photography, no phones, no. Yeah.
They were, and obviously want to be respectful.
Yeah, and at Tokyo Game Show, to be clear, they might not be as adamant about it, or potentially this person just snuck the shots.
Mm-hmm.
You turn your flash off on your phone, put it in your pocket up here. Just have a little thing where you just tap it, or maybe it's a Samsung, you can use like the little note pen.
Yes, pen. Yeah.
Yeah. You just got to tap that and it takes pictures. So I'm just saying, it's possible that the person didn't get the pictures like they weren't supposed to because
Google Glass.
Here's the thing:
Meta glasses.
The demo's out there right now. Like it's at Tokyo Game Show. I feel like this was posted like a half hour ago. I feel like there'd be a hell of a lot more people putting up images.
Mm-hmm.
If you were just allowed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just my thoughts. But hey, I appreciate being able to see it. Obviously, it just kind of confirms what we saw in the trailer. And based on the fact that I played the demo, it looks really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like this looks exactly like what we played, except her hair is frizzy, and I just don't care about that.
All right.
Yeah, shout out to Blake. Thanks for sending that to my DM. Awesome. Good to see that. And I guess one other bit of news I'm just seeing, but Professor Layton and the New World of Steam delayed to 2026.
Really?
Yeah, that was announced earlier today.
Jeez. What's going on with level 5?
Oh, seems like they're playing on level 1 right now.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Because they have like at least 1 or 2 games that I'm very interested. Well, actually 3, because Professor Layton, Deca Police, and Inazuma 11, because that got pushed out to November again. But once again, that's like their 3rd or 4th push out. So I would imagine this is going to happen again.
Yeah, I do think we have a lot of games to play coming up. Like I think it's pretty full. And so maybe they looked at it that way, like, hey, you know what? Let's not be forgotten.
True.
Let's not release it now. Let's add a little bit of lacquer to it. Get some extra polish on that baby and ship it out when the calendar's a little lighter. Because I mean, even if you look outside of Switch too, you look at PlayStation as well, Xbox, just as a whole, there's so much coming out. I think it's very content rich. So maybe they eyed a different date that looks better and that will play better to their bottom line, because it's been in development for a long time.
Yeah.
They might just be holding to maximize those profits. All right. I think then we can move on to the next topic, which
I think if you guys are good with it, since we're talking news, do we want to just switch over to let Nate go and keep going with the news flow?
Yeah, let's do it, Nader Tot.
What in the world?
I don't know what is going on. What is that? I don't even where'd that come from?
I don't know.
Really like throwing for a loop.
brain.
Here's the thing. Obviously, guys, I'm late to the show, so I was already thrown for a loop. And I'm like, oh, we're rocking at a time. Then Eric's like, oh, we're going on the topics in order. I'm like, okay, cool. Then all of a sudden, I see the Requiem screenshots for that. I'm like, we're talking about that in a topic already. It's literally already there. Could have been when we brought it up, but somebody bring it up now. Yeah. And then we have another topic that has all the other general news, and then we bring up more general news. I mean, what is happening? I don't know. This shows, and you know what? Yep. This is what happens when I'm not here to start. It's just wild city.
Yeah.
You guys are doing good. I listened to a little bit of the show when I could. That being said, sure. There's a few other things that have been going on out there. And look, guys, news is flying in like fast. Okay, we have a whole topic for Tokyo Game Show, so I'm kind of avoiding the news from Tokyo Game Show because we'll talk about that when we get there. Because there's just a lot, and there's even more, and it's going to keep coming. Like, it's just the way it is. Because it's a huge game show happening out in Japan. But there are some things that are worth talking about just briefly. We don't have to go too in depth on all of it. That's why it's all in one topic. But as an example, one thing that just happened the other day was Borderlands 4 was delayed.
Yeah.
For Switch 2. And their reasoning, and we don't have to read the whole thing here, says they're committed to ensuring that we deliver the best possible experience to our fans. The game needs additional development and polish time to do that. And our hope is to also better align this release with the addition of cross saves. So one thing is they're adding cross saves, which must not have been there at launch. But more than that, like that's a big deal to have cross saves.
That's interesting because I thought Randy Pitchford said if you want your games to run well, to go make them yourself. Did I misunderstand?
No,
a very surprising post.
You did not. You did not misunderstand. Notice that this is posted by the Borderlands account, not Randy. Remember, he made the video that was cringe as hell to announce the release date for this, by the way, on Switch 2. That made no sense. And meanwhile, this is the next time we hear about it, which is a delay, which makes it sound like maybe Randy Pitchford needs to stop talking. Just my personal opinion. Clearly, your dev team knew the game was not going to be ready by that date, and you announced it anyways. So thanks, buddy. Now, I do think, personally, this delay was probably caused overall. I mean, I do. Yeah, okay, we played the game. We can talk about our experience with that. But when we look at the besides the cross saves being added, which must not have been ready to go for launch, they talk about development for polish. You know, they needed to polish the game still. I think that's a very key word, polish, because the game released unpolished on every platform.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they're delaying it, to avoid the backlash, because if they can survive the backlash on PC, PlayStation 5, whatever, because, you know, they have an established like audience on those places that will forgive them with patches and stuff. They don't really have a big established base on Switch 2 because they have the first game they're bringing there. And if the first game leaves a bad taste in your mouth, people will just not buy future games from you. So they need to have this be a solid first impression. And the fact that the first impressions on PlayStation, Xbox, even PC were so bad that, what was it again that he said, the old Randy said, Game Bird?
Say it again. What was the what?
What did Randy say again in response to people talking about how bad the game performs?
Oh yeah, go make games yourself. Pretty much.
Yep. Yeah, he said that, and then he also said something about how you know, now he didn't say that you're too poor, but it came off as you need to have a high-end PC. That's what we built this game for. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
This all goes back to his story about working in Gizmo Beach.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Teenager, oh my God.
Which I know where that's at. You know where that's at, Game Bird, I'm sure, living in Cali.
Yes.
And then we looked up, pretty sure I did, the median income back then and the cost of living. And whatever he was saying, I mean, look, man, I don't know this guy personally, but he's way off base, right? I'll just say it basically. It's a nice way of saying it. He's way off base. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
You're a dumbass. Keep the foot out of your mouth and just don't talk at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I think he needs to stop pitching the games.
I'm not saying that you're bad at your actual job behind the scenes. I think obviously you guys keep making good games and you're the one running the company. So some good decisions must be getting made somewhere in there. You need to hire a different team to handle PR, HR, something, because you are not the man. I think you think you're Kojima, but you're not.
The thing is that like, yeah, I'm sure he's I don't know anything about Randy Pitchford other than his like bad PR that he's.
Well, that's all I need to know.
That's all you need to know. Yeah,
but it always reminds me of like the person who does a really bad PR move like that, but then is like really sad and like, why doesn't everyone like me? You know, like
we felt that from the reception of the movie. You remember?
Why don't they like me? I don't get it.
He had that whole presentation in like the Game Awards or something for the movie, and he went on for like 15 minutes.
Maybe
about behind the scenes with the movie, about all these things he can't tell us, and all the actors looked really uncomfortable, like they didn't even want to be on camera.
They looked so uncomfortable. It looked like he had been camping outside of Kevin Hart's trailer for a week.
Yeah, but he's the boss, so what are they supposed to say? Like, turn it off, you're in charge. And it was so awkward. And then the movie was like one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah,
you're like, man, dude, just stop talking. You look, people like the games. Let the games do the talking. Let your trailers come out. Let your developers talk passionately about this. You just need to stop. And so that's the thing, like,
How about just be humble, and then, you know, no one's like, no dev team is perfect. People are going to miss things. People aren't always going to hit the mark. How about when you miss the mark a little bit, when you have some performance issues, how about just be like, sorry, we're working really hard to get this stuff fixed, and we hear you.
Yeah,
like, dude, it's easy.
No,
we hear you. We understand there's some performance issues. Developing modern games is very difficult, but rest assured, we're working on some patches to fix things up, to give you a better experience.
No, Bam. we made this game for high-end PC hardware.
Right.
I should be making the big bucks. You see what I came up with off the top of my head? That was brilliant PR right there.
When he said the PC hardware comment, I sat there. I'm like, dude, you're releasing this on PlayStation 5, on Xbox Series S, and Switch 2. And you literally just said you built this game for high-end PC. So you built this thing for a $2,000 GPU. You guys get out of here. You're so full of it, Randy. Just stop. It's okay to admit that the game just didn't come out in the state you wanted it to, and it's not optimized. It's okay to just say that. Like, we're sorry. We're going to do our best to get this patched up. as quickly as we can on all platforms. How hard is it to just say sorry? And like, I don't even know if that's in his vocabulary. even when you read this tweet, which again, it probably was not written by him. You know, there's not an apology. It's just we don't take this decision lightly. Here's why we're delaying it. Have a good day. Not, hey, sorry. You know, we're looking forward to this game. We're gonna have to wait a little longer. But I will say this: one thing the post does do right is it does not tell us how long it's delayed.
Yeah.
So it's probably 2026, which is fine. I just think that, like, you know, that's good to not put the expectation on when, because it means they don't know when it's going to be ready. Because guess what? They're trying to optimize all the versions of the game right now.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to focus first on the ones that have already released and then get around to this one. So, yeah, look, it's what they should have did in the first place. They shouldn't, my opinion, and I don't know if this is this controversial? I don't know how gamers feel about this. The whole game should have been delayed for all platforms.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. These games are now out there, and so you'll have people that they'll muster through it, they'll fight through it. But then you have on the back end,
high NPC gamers, perfect experience.
Oh yeah, for sure. So then, what does that mean? Like when the Switch version comes out and this is fixed, do you put it on sale for the other devices? Like
that's the funny thing. This is going to be the Star Wars Outlaws, right? Star Wars Outlaws was a massive launch, but then Switch 2, by the time I got there, it's kind of a good game now.
Yep.
Oh, Borderlands is a mess at launch. By the time it gets to Switch 2, it's going to probably be a pretty good version of the game.
Wow.
Maybe, I just don't know how the industry hasn't learned yet. The AAA industry, especially, the fans are starting to give a crap when their games don't run well. Like,
it is crazy to say. Like, it should have always been the case.
Yeah, and it's a twitchy shooter. Like, it's really sucks when it doesn't run well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's my thoughts. Anyone else got thoughts on the Borderlands topic?
I would love for someone to campaign for me like that. Because I mean, he fought hard. I was like, well, maybe people are overdoing it because he's going so hard. And then I saw the game. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I'm glad that it's delayed.
Yeah,
I think that was the right move. And I think whenever a game's not ready, that's always the right move. Delay it until it's right. That's what we want. There will be people that will complain. You don't worry about those people because there's not a lot of them. They're just loud.
Yeah.
So we know what the right thing is to do here. If it's your business, that's what you would do, right? We would all want to make sure that when the game comes out, it's ready to go. And you're proud of the product.
It's like the Nintendo way of doing things. Nintendo always delays their stuff until it's right. I know we say that Scarlet Violet, but that wasn't Nintendo's decision. It might be Nintendo's decision moving forward. It sounds like, based on the leaked documents last year, it sounds like ZA was supposed to come out last year. Notice it didn't. It's coming out this year. That could have been a mandate from Nintendo because they don't want to be embarrassed again.
Right.
I mean, Nintendo had made a public apology for Scarlet and Violet. Like, they've never done that before. And it was TPC and Game Freak that forced them to do that. So it's like, okay, yeah, people associate Pokemon with us. You can't be releasing games this broken. We don't release games like this. Our fans have an expectation.
Right.
So we'll see if that applies to Gen 10 when that comes out. But it is the Nintendo way of doing things where they just delay things till they're right or good enough. Good enough anyways, where people aren't going to complain much. Like Donkey Kong Bonanza is not perfect, but it's good enough where the complaints are so minuscule. It's still the game of the year contender, right? So, cool. There's other stuff to talk about, just kind of briefly.
Oh, well, Alyssa, do you have any thoughts on Borderlands?
Oh, sure.
I'll just say that since it's delayed, that I hope that they add the split screen option because that wasn't going to be there before. So I hope they'll add that, like for local play.
That would be
because I never played Borderlands before, and I was gonna try to get into it with this one. And I don't pay for online on PlayStation. I only pay online on Switch. So I would like to have the option to play online or play like on the couch with my significant other.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, next up, this one is interesting because it's kind of been floating out there for a while, but people kind of ignored it. And that is mostly the Metroid Prime 4 stuff, how much Nintendo spent to make it. So set aside the sales data. This is all like 5 days old, and Amazon updates like every 3 days. But right here is the comment that's kind of blowing up. It's from Kiwi Talks, by the way. Shout out to Reese Riley. He's going to be coming on an episode coming up here, I think in November. But he said Prime 1 cost about $10 million to make. Prime 4 is costing about $100 million to make. By the way, as far as we're aware, Nintendo's only had one IP that they've spent more than that to make a game, and that's been Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. So Zelda. So this would make it like the second most expensive thing they've ever done. But the big thing is that the game needs to sell between 4.5 to 5 million to just break even. That's scary for a franchise that's never sold more than like 3.2 million.
Right.
This is exactly why when we had our show after that Nintendo Direct, I wasn't trying to be negative because I'm genuinely very hyped for this game, but I do have concerns with the way Nintendo's marketed it. I didn't know the budget for this game was $100 million. I knew it was going to be expensive for them considering how much time. So I do have concerns with how they've marketed it. Like I feel like I really, really, really hope that this game gets a dedicated direct to really show off to people who maybe never have played a game in the series, to show what's so special. I wish the trailer we got in the last direct was better. I think the bike stuff is cool and exciting, but I wish we got some commentary talking about, whether it's a little bit of the story, what's going on in the game, talking a little bit about the features. And maybe they didn't include that stuff because they are really planning on a Metroid focused direct. But this is a game that needs very, very special marketing and special care because it feels like make or break. I guarantee you we'll get more Metroid games like Dread. I'm not worried about games like that. But Prime, this is supposed to reboot a new trilogy. And this is a critically acclaimed series that is beloved by fans. This is a game that deserves to keep going. And it's scary to have those feelings of do or die, make or break with this one, especially with how it's been marketed, in my opinion. So if there was some sort of a bundle, if they package it with a special, there's a special edition that's packaged with a special pro controller for Switch 2, any way they can get people to jump in who maybe didn't have this on their radar. I don't know. What do you guys think? I want this game to do well so badly. And obviously, word of mouth. This is a new Metroid game in the age of social media. I know we're going to be talking this game up a lot. Knock on wood, it's good. I'm not worried about it being a good or bad game. I'm very confident that this game's going to be amazing. But I don't know. I just would like, with how grave it feels the Prime situation is, I'd like to see Nintendo really treat this game with special care.
Yeah.
Am I off base here?
Oh, no, you're spot on. I think when we look at Metroid, if you look at the Metacritic ratings, they're always in the 90s. It's a beloved franchise, but it just doesn't sell well. So when we're looking at Metroid Prime 4, we have a scenario to where it got delayed because it went to a different team, so they had to refocus. It's been 7-8 years now since we first initially heard about this game. So we're in that realm. And then when we first heard about it, or at least got some information about it, it was like, okay, cool. Psychic powers, we'll get a little bit more information. We've had people play at demos. So it's been fantastic. But then this last announcement, it was kind of like, here you go. We'll talk more about it, maybe. So we gave you a date. Here's some amiibo. Here's a bike in an open world. Figure it out. It just didn't seem like they cared.
That last trailer felt like they just grabbed something like, oh, the bike's cool. Let's show the bike.
Yeah,
is how it felt. Which it is cool. It is cool,
and it is cool. And even let's say they have a Donkey Kong Bonanza type direct for right before it comes out. I would still like for it to have more press. Because like you said, these are not bad games. It's just for whatever reason they don't sell. And I've never spoken to anyone that would say, okay, well, this is why I don't like Metroid. It's either you do or you don't. And they've never given a reasoning as into why they don't. They just never tried it. I've tried a few myself and I enjoy them, I've only finished Dread and maybe I think it was Metroid Prime 1. But other than that, I haven't finished 2 or 3. So I don't know. Like, this would be a great opportunity for them to give it another leash on life. Every game for the most part got huge sales coming the Switch way. If it was bad sales before, Switch gave you like a cool million, if not 2. You were guaranteed. So I wish it all the best. I'll be there day one to pick it up, but I would like to see a lot more media and a lot more press push behind this game. But as of right now, it doesn't seem like they care, even though I know that that's not true. If you're going to spend $100 million, you care. So it's just so I would like for them to show the efforts that they put in for this game.
Totally. And it's a weird thing too, because I love surprise. I don't like having everything spoiled for me.
Correct.
But for like the sake of Metroid and its longevity, I feel like, man, I wish they gave a little bit of story in the trailer, like kind of the setup, talk about like you in this game you play as Samus, the most famous bounty hunter, travel across a fully interconnected world with number of with epic boss fights, and like show off, so because Metroid series has epic boss fights, show a couple,
right,
and
as you said, just at least talk, because they didn't say anything. As you unlock your psychic powers, you unravel the mystery of like hype this game up, give it like a cinematic trailer, because I feel like if anyone who's in the know is going to watch this trailer and they're going to be like, sick, it's Metroid Prime 4 and there's a motorcycle now, this is rad, I can't wait. But like anyone who's never played a Prime game, it's like, well, what's it about? Is there multiplayer? Does this have online multiplayer in it? Or I don't know. I just feel like they need to do a better job of marketing this one. I agree.
But I might be hypercritical just because I'm worried about its performance.
Okay. I mean, I think that's fair. I think we've kind of hit a point where they have to go all out for the marketing with this, and the problem is obviously that this is coming as the last game for the holidays. And so it leaves a very short window to try to give it individual attention post Kirby Air Riders. And I don't know what the answer is. Like, sure, we can go with even a demo on the eShop, as nice as that would be. I don't know that that's going to suddenly make people look up the demo to play it, besides people who already do, unless for something crazy happens in the demo that Nintendo knows will create word of mouth. That would then get people more interested to try it out. Especially if you already picked up a Switch 2 for the holidays, then you might go, oh, well, if people are hyping this up and there's all this crazy stuff happening on TikTok or whatever, maybe we should check this out in December and check out the demo. So it's gonna be kind of interesting because there's always a lot of games and it could get buried. Other things I thought they could do is I think about times when they've gone on big promotion tours before, where they like have like a demo bus that travels all over the country, and Nintendo promotes they're going to be at different malls and different places. That's another thing they could do. The bottom line is, I don't think it matters what they show or how hype a trailer is. The bottom line is people just don't pay attention to this franchise. And so you kind of have to shove it in their faces. And if you don't shove it in their faces, then they're just not going to try. So it's interesting because there's not a lot of time or events left to really do that. Like, I would almost, as strange as it feels, feel better if it was kind of pushed back to like January, and then they use something like the Game Awards to do like a huge push in front of a massive audience, and then drop the demo that day. Just because they've spent so much money on this. By the way, guys, I don't want it delayed. I want it in my console now. But like, we just saw like, hey, if it's 100 million or 100 million plus, it's got to sell 4.5 to 5 million copies, and there's no guarantee it even comes close to that. And I know we can talk about how big the Switch install base is, but yeah, the Switch install base is massive. Metroid Dread, a Metroidvania, still only sold 3.2 million, and the side-scrolling ones tend to sell better than the non-side-scrolling ones. In general, look how well Silksong is selling. They can't get that success for some reason, even though they have a much bigger company and much bigger marketing behind a game compared to Hollow Knight. So why can't they get the attention? Well, I don't know if Nintendo just doesn't know how to market a game like this, or if it's just they haven't tried hard enough. Like, yeah, it's been in multiple directs. They've had it at the Switch 2 experience. They had it at some demo events, but not all of them. Like, oh, did you think the Switch 2 experience was good enough in the US that you didn't need a demo at PAX West? That's weird. Why don't you want this game getting more attention? And it didn't have a private demo or a public demo.
Right.
That's weird. Why wouldn't you promote it there when you're promoting it at these other events? Why aren't you at Tokyo Game Show? Hey, I know you never go. Maybe you go this time and you push Metroid, and that's the reason you're there. And it becomes this big deal. The first ever Tokyo Game Show where Nintendo's on the show floor, and the only game you're showing off, they won't be the only game, but you'd have a huge section there for Metroid.
All right.
Like, and I know that, like, you know, well, so the answer to make it happen is to spend even more money. Kind of. It's they're kind of in a sunk cost here with this game where I hope it sells 5 million.
Yeah.
I don't think it's guaranteed to do it. And my huge concern, and we could say this beyond a shadow of doubt, because how Nintendo talked about Metroid after Other M didn't sell enough to make Nintendo happy. Like, they were not happy with the sales of that game. If this thing loses them money, I don't know we're getting another.
Probably not.
Even if one's currently being worked on, Nintendo will just cut their losses and just say, hey, we're not going to do this again just to lose money again. Like, if we're going to lose money, we might as well just stop making it now. Like, I know there's rumors Prime 4's or Prime 5's already in the works. Yeah, they can cut that off anytime they want. You know, they're hoping this game sells well to justify bringing a Prime 5 out. And look, I hope I'm wrong.
At least close to breaking even. You know, like this is one that you don't want to just like cap at $1 million.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Or even if it's like 2 mil, 2.5. I don't think that's good enough. It's got to be like
3.5. Yeah. I agree.
Because then you could be like, okay, maybe the sunk cost was that we didn't have the right developer at first. You know, this next time around we'll at least break even, or maybe come slightly ahead, or maybe a better development process is in place to speed up development for Prime 5. There could be all that logic, and like, I know like some people get mad about like the open world aspect, and we're not going to do a deep dive on that stuff right now. We'll do that closer to launch. But I think, one thing they're doing, the reason they put that in there, and it feels weird to say it, is because, hey, maybe this will make it appeal more. People seem to always get excited about open world.
Yeah.
But it almost had the opposite effect on social media anyways, where people didn't really get excited that it had that. And mostly it's because you showed a really, really bland part of the open world, and then you zoomed out and made that bland part look really big, which makes people go, oh, well, that's not why people like open world. So it's like, yeah. And again, it might not be open world. That literally could just be a zone in the game, and the zones are just bigger than we've ever seen before. So it might not even be open world. And don't get me wrong, yeah, that looked really big. But if there's other, forest areas and other, like, there could be other areas, and if they're all that big, the other areas might just be more exciting, and the desert's kind of boring.
I've been told there's multiple large zones, and that desert one is just one of many.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the wrong one to show. Like, you should have showed one that had more exciting visuals and more exciting gameplay. I think they did it because they wanted to show the motorcycle, because the motorcycle makes the most sense in that area.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, I mean, the motorcycle looked sick when Samus was going like across that like bridge. And
oh yeah,
doing the straight shot. That's when it looked really cinematic and really cool. And maybe that desert zone is sparse and barren because there's going to be an epic boss fight in that zone, a huge like larger than life boss fight. But like, I think like Twin Mold from the Zelda series, and
I'm sure there's going to be a huge boss fight there. It's going to be sick.
But if they had teased a massive, and maybe there's not a big boss fight there, and that's fair. Maybe there's a boss fight, but it's not a larger than life. But if there is, if they had teased, they don't have to show the full boss. If they had teased something coming out of the sand, that's massive, and Samus like Akira sliding and like looking up and stuff like that, it's like, oh crap, someone's gonna go down hardcore here.
Yeah, that would have been more hype driving. Yeah.
To give you my answer real quick, as far as Metroid, one, I am not concerned at all about the marketing. I'm going to tell you why. Today is September 24th. Okay. It's not This is not the marketing cycle for Metroid Prime 4. That's
Sure.
the answer. What are we marketing right now? Galaxy 1 and 2. Then what are we
Mhm.
marketing?
Pokemon.
Then what are we marketing?
Air Riders.
Age of Imprisonment.
And then Air Riders. And then
Mhm.
Metroid. We're 5 games away from marketing.
Yeah.
They're focusing on one at a time. We saw what they did with Donkey Kong Bonanza. We got a direct focused on DK 30 days before. Did it work? I think so.
Yeah.
Well, the
That's
thing
the
is,
answer.
like Bonanza got a direct, and it was not a week and a half before the game came out.
I said it was a
Well-
month.
Yeah, but you just said like if we're focusing on this, we're focusing. Okay, then we focus
Yeah.
on this. Well, by the time we get done with Kirby Air Riders, there's like a week and a half, and Metroid's out. Like that's the time frame for marketing. That's not enough.
I think we'll start getting marketing for some of the, like, for instance, Pokemon. That's been playable everywhere, right? So how much are we marketing this? And then how much is the Pokemon company going to be handling marketing as well, right? And then
Well,
Kirby Air Riders. Look at how much marketing they've already done for it. A shitload. We had a huge Kirby Direct.
And
Yeah,
another one
like we have another one coming. So these things are already on the table. Hyrule Warriors, it's playable at TGS. It's there.
Yep.
So that marketing cycle is there. Metroid's not there because we're focusing on these games right now. Metroid is the last one for Christmas. So those marketing cycles have already begun. So you don't have to market those up until the finish line. That would be my take. And again, you don't want to, I also don't think you want to market Metroid too late into November. You want to get that word out there, get those pre-orders boosted prior to Thanksgiving and the big sales. So I think we're going to start seeing that marketing cycle. You got to imagine the first week of November.
So they're gonna do it the same week as Age of Imprisonment comes out.
Yeah, because it's already being marketed.
Okay.
Right? It is right now.
And by the way, I'm not saying they can't do it. They have dropped like
Yeah.
direct the same weeks as like games have come out, so it's not impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Stash could very well be right. That's why, you know, I I said, if this game doesn't get a direct, if it doesn't get a special overview, like 10-minute, 12-minute overview trailer, a dedicated direct, that's concerning for me because the game deserves it. Or a special bundle, you know, some sort of special console bundle, controller bundle, something that's really gonna get people who just aren't familiar with the series excited. Totally possible, but yeah, I don't think it's been marketed great, but there's still time. There's still plenty of time. So,
Got any thoughts, Alyssa?
Yeah, I mean, I think the marketing is kind of weird too, but like what Stash said, it does make sense to kind of focus on the other games first. But the fact that it was such a high budget game, I really do want it to get more attention and more push. I just got into Metroid last year. I played Prime Remastered, and then I also played Samus Returns and Other M. And I fell in love with it. And the reason I got into it was because of people like us and like you guys telling me, you know, Metroid's a good game, go play it. Nintendo didn't convince me to go play it. Fans convinced me to go play it. So I think Nintendo should really try to convince other people and give it a little more love than it has been.
Yeah, I don't think it's at its wow moment.
Yeah. I was really like impressed by the trailer, and even though they didn't say anything, I was like really excited, but that's because I've played Metroid. I know what it's like, and I fell in love with it. But for somebody like just watching it, they'll be like, yeah, like Gamer said, did they have multiplayer? What do I do?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it needs a wow moment. And I don't know what that wow moment's going to be. Because like any game that's come close to being this high budget for Nintendo had wow moments way before we're talking about the final month before the game comes out. Like, you know, Breath of the Wild at E3. You know, you had obviously Mario Odyssey also with an E3 moment where they built the whole thing around it and it really impressed people and people talked about it for months and months and months heading up to launch, regardless if Nintendo continued to market it. People aren't really talking about Metroid Prime 4 unless you're Andres Restart. People aren't really talking about it. I mean, that's like you look around on social media, it's never trended. It's not on, it's not on YouTube. There's not a ton of videos coming out about it. There was the day of the direct and then nothing. And that's not the way it's worked for any other game that's been supposedly at the level this game is at, which is high-end AAA Nintendo at their best. That's what's expected. That's what the budget is. That's what the series demands with the 90 plus ratings it always gets. And it just feels weird that there's like the hype is there, but it's only for like the people who are already fans. There's nothing that's making everyone talk about it. And I don't know what they can do for that. I mean, Stash said, yeah, they can get the marketing going, and maybe it's that direct that happens like a month before the game comes out. But I mean, that's still maybe, because the only people watching that direct will be people who are already fans.
Let me say this too, because I find that it's often missaid and misquoted on podcasts and other news channels, is that Pikmin 1+2 released 30 days before Pikmin 4. A lot of people are like, oh, released like 3 or 4 months before. It's like, no, it was 30 days before, to the dot. So point is that don't close that door.
You don't want 2 and 3.
Yes. It was 30 days before, and everyone's like, oh, it's, that time's already passed. That window's closed. It's like, no, it hasn't. You just need to go on Google and type in, when did Pikmin 1+2 Switch release? And it will show you the release date, which is crazy. It'll just tell you what it is. And then you can look up, okay, when did Pikmin 4 release? And then you'll see that, oh, wow. It was only 30 days within each other, not 3 or 4 months like everyone's been saying. I didn't know I could just get on Google and find this out. Holy shit. It's like, do an ounce of research.
Yeah,
the point is that 30 days, man.
I don't think that helped Pikmin 4 sell, though. I don't think it really had much of an impact.
I think it did. It's the best-selling Pikmin of all time.
Pikmin 4 is, yeah.
Yeah, I think that springboarded it 100%.
So you think Pikmin 1 selling 1.6 million springboarded almost 4 million?
I think having all of the Pikmins on Nintendo Switch helped a ton.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would argue
I can own all the Pikmins on Nintendo Switch and play them handheld. This is great.
So I get that. I'm not saying that's not great. What I'm saying is, what was the best-selling Pikmin before Pikmin 4?
What? I think it was
Pikmin 3 when they ported it to Switch. It became the best-selling Pikmin game of all time. I think there was already hype built for Pikmin because Pikmin 3 sold so well.
Yeah.
I don't think 1 and 2 really helped much because 1 and 2, just like Metroid Prime, didn't sell that great compared to 3 and 4. So I'm like, that's why I think as a fan, don't be wrong, as a fan, it's incredible having all 4 on one system. I love it. I kind of think the hype was already there because we already had Pikmin 3 sell so well on the same system. That being said, the reason I bring this up is Metroid Prime didn't sell well on its own. I don't think 2 and 3 are going to sell well either. I don't think it's do anything to build hype for this game. Metroid Prime's story arc ended in 3. So like 4 isn't even going to be following 3 necessarily. It's probably following Prime Hunters and other games that people didn't play either.
I actually think Prime 1 Remastered sold remarkably well, given the marketing and how it was released. It was Shadow Drop.
It was Shadow Drop, yeah.
And there was no marketing. And it's already a niche series. So I actually think that game sold.
Has any game sold really well being Shadow Dropped without previously being announced? Has there been like any game that sold like crazy well?
You know how I would have opened the trailer for Metroid Prime Remastered?
Let's Google. Let's see what AI tells me.
You know what I would have done if I was Nintendo? I would have opened with the black screen, music kicks in, and then on the screen starts appearing all the critical acclaim quotes and awards. Best game of the generation, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of... I would have opened with that. It's a series that's literally critically acclaimed and no one knows.
Mm-hmm.
I Googled that. I don't know if AI is correct here. The games they spit out one was Apex Legends, Okay, free to play game. Hi-Fi Rush, the studio got closed and then came back, and so I don't know that that's a good example. And then Fallout Shelter, another free mobile game. So I'm like, there hasn't actually AI. I want to note this is what AI is telling me. Ben, like any massive game besides Apex Legends, which is free to play, that has like blown up and been just shadow dropped without a prior announcement. So it's actually kind of consistent that it doesn't actually work that well. So no, I say that relative selling over 1 million units is still like really good.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like that, no one's, but like it's kind of crazy that like nothing besides like a free to play game has really like blown up from it. Almost like it's maybe not a good strategy. And to your credit, Gamebird, maybe it's not a good strategy to like launch games without marketing them.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing. Like, yeah, it sold well for not being marketed, but that's what shadow drops are like. They're not marketed. And that doesn't seem to really work for anything. So it's kind of weird. That being said, obviously how well Prime 4 will probably help determine that. Like if that sold really well, then maybe interest, because there has been marketing. We can't say there's been no marketing for Prime 4. It's been demoed at the Switch 2 experience. It was demoed at Nintendo's event that they did out in whatever they call that thing. What's the event Nintendo holds every year? The in-person event. They did it in Seattle once.
Yeah.
Whatever that's called. They did that. They did
Nintendo
that.
Live.
Yeah, Nintendo Live. They did that in Japan. They had it there. They had it demoed in Canada at their Fan Fest. They just didn't do it at PAX West, but they did it at all the other events. And then, obviously they had it featured pretty heavily and they treated it like a big deal in the direct, regardless of how the trailer was perceived. And yeah, there's going to be future trailers and probably a dedicated direct. This game of all of them needs a dedicated direct. Like I don't know that we need another Kirby direct. It was kind of funny that Sakurai seemed almost shocked that he has to make another one. I don't know if he actually was or if he's just playing it off to be funny, but like it would be hilarious to me if like that Kirby direct announcement, when someone edited it in, it was actually supposed to be for the prior direct that already happened and someone forgot to take it out. It's like headcanon for me that was supposed to be announcing the prior Kirby direct that already happened, and they always like, oh crap, I gotta make another one. We'll know if like the Kirby direct doesn't happen until like a week before launch. We'll know it was very last minute to put together.
Yeah. I think Sakurai might have something under his sleeve though.
Yeah. I think it's all a play. It's all just a marketing play. Be like, what? I have to make one? Hold on, it's gonna be a while. Please understand. Watch, a while. It happens next week. Right.
It would be really cool if Nintendo has in the pipeline some sort of Metroid project for cinema. Whether it's an anime series or a movie, something like that, because we've seen time and time again how bringing these IP to the screen could be massive.
An animated series on Netflix would be sick.
Cyberpunk anime came out, the game sales exploded.
Yeah.
The Witcher live action series came out, Witcher 3 game sales exploded.
Yeah.
The Fallout show came out. Dude, Fallout 76, the most hated Fallout game, sales exploded.
Yeah.
So
I think an animated one on Netflix could go well because Netflix will do its own promotion for it and literally like shove it in everyone's face, which is what did we say Metroid needs? Someone to shove it in your face.
Yeah.
And if they shove the show in your face on Netflix front page over and over for a week, and then people actually give it a chance and they're like, oh, this is really, really good. What the heck is this about? And then people type it in and they realize there's a new game coming out. I mean, that's brilliant marketing if that was even a plan. Now, I say Netflix just because I know the power of Netflix is like self-marketing on their front page. It's very powerful. It gets people to try a lot of stuff they wouldn't have tried out. Obviously, we've seen the show successes with other things, but like Fallout was a pretty big IP even before the show, like bigger than Metro. So it's one of those things that like, the IP can be the draw to try the show. And then people try it, they like it, gets rave reviews, starts to jump to the, starts getting talked about, spread that way. Netflix just kind of makes everything. Like Netflix is the one that had the Castlevania one, and that one did really well.
Yeah, and Netflix does like right when you open up the app, if I'm remembering correctly, where it has like top 10 today. It shows you like the 10 things that most people are watching, and if a Nintendo property came out on a streaming service, that does that top 10. With all the Nintendo fans rushing to watch that stuff day one, it's going to land right there. I think I remember when Mario came to Netflix, it was in the number 1 spot for a while.
Yeah, it was up there for a while.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, also, because people watch that Castlevania series, this could be a suggestion.
The recommendations too.
Yeah. To that. So I think there's just a really good thing. And I think Nintendo, this is what you should be thinking with your movies and your TV shows is you should be going to where you think it's best serves the IP. Like, yeah, you went to obviously Illumination for Mario. You thought that best served Mario, but you didn't do that for Zelda. You thought going with Sony and some of their studios was the best direction for Zelda. That's fine. Keep doing that. I think you got to do the best thing for the IP. Don't worry about cinematic universes and all this crap that fans dream about. You worry about doing what's best for each game. I think an animated show for Metroid on Netflix is the best thing to advertise Metroid and get your games to maybe pick up. But we'll see. We're obviously talking about hypotheticals of Metroid. We have no idea if this is ever going to happen. What we do know is something that did happen, something that has gotten a lot of talk over the last 24 hours, and that is, did they fix Mario Kart World? Did it happen? Did they actually fix it? And the crazy thing is, so this update, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. They dropped a whole bunch of stuff in here, made a lot of things. They really focused a lot here on the on everything, pretty much like free roam. They added the ability to track your P switches now and your coins you've done. So now you can see how many you've done. Areas you haven't found any yet that there probably is some in. You can now teleport really close to where P switches you already have done. That's really cool. They increased the frequency of the UFOs that appear because that's one of the funnest features of free roam, but it barely ever appeared. Some people haven't even experienced it yet. So now you'll be able to experience that more often. Bunch of stuff there where they made free roam just a bit more enjoyable. I'm not going to say it's something going to make you guys like free roam, but it at least makes it a more enjoyable experience for those that did enjoy it. And one thing that is neat about free roam is you do it between multiplayer matches. And I think that's kind of a neat concept to do it between multiplayer matches. This might actually get something done between multiplayer matches if you're still trying to do some stuff in the free roam. But that's not really the main focus of what people are excited about. They made 3 big changes that was one of the big changes, but two other big changes they care about is one, you can now do knockout mode with your friends online. That's awesome. Don't know why you couldn't do that before. Can do it now. They made it very easy, very simple to join your friends playing knockout mode. I love it. Thank you so much. That's great. They also supposedly, and I've been watching a number of videos today, it does look like, from what I'm seeing, it's better. I haven't tested it yet myself. Made 3-lap courses in the online matches, increase in frequency, which is what people have been demanding ever since Nintendo changed it and made it so the random didn't guarantee a 3-lap course. And I find it funny because I'm seeing mostly positive reactions online to people who have been playing it all day to kind of test out if it's actually fixed. And people seem to be happy. Again, I haven't tested it myself, just videos I've seen. They seem to be, this is a lot more frequent than it was. I don't know if it's at the frequency they quite want, but it's significantly better to the point that maybe they'll stop doing private lobbies and actually go back to ranked. That being said, I find it also funny that this update drops. There's a ton of bug fixes as well. They fixed a whole bunch of bugs. But I find it ironic this update drops the day before Crossworlds comes out. Because they do this now after Crossworlds just did like the throwback commercial talk about how much better than Mario Kart they are. But like, this is hilarious to me because while Nintendo didn't do like a direct shot back, right? They didn't grab, and start insulting Crossworlds. It's kind of like, oh, Crossworlds comes tomorrow. Let's drop the most important update for Mario Kart World yet. Right the day before.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about this? Good move, bad move? Do you think it's fixed? Have you played it?
I played it. So all of my races today have been 3-lap races. So that was surprising. I usually get maybe 2, and I try to play at least 3 knockout and then 3 regular online matches. So all of my matches were 3 laps today. So whatever adjustments they made, they adjusted the hell out of it. So it's definitely there. For me personally, the intermission races, I actually enjoy those. So I know I'm in a very, very small camp to where I love the concept of the game. So whatever, me racing is just me racing. I didn't necessarily care. I do like the change for the UFO to where you can now use that to unlock characters, because I've had this game since launch and I still don't have all the NPCs. Because it's damn near impossible to get it with the Kamek.
That was a really good change. I wish that change was there at launch. That whole you UFO and NPC, and now you unlock it. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah. So I just wish they would have come up with a better way of unlocking characters. So either or, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I've been enjoying the game. The lobbies for me were never scarce at all. But I mean, there were a lot of people in today. But like I said, every match that I did today was 3 laps for sure.
Sorry, I had to show this one because it's Mario Kart related.
Right.
Did you play Mario Kart World on Switch 2? You only get matched with people who have Mario Kart World on Switch 2. Wild.
But even with that, I'm still excited with Sonic Cross Worlds coming out. I'm curious as into what's the release date for the Switch 2 version. Because I forget what game it was. I think it was Fantasy Life. We got the Switch version. They were like, oh, the Switch 2 version is going to release at some point in time. And it was literally almost like a week later. So hopefully we get something close to that with Sonic, and it's not too far out, even though the physical is not coming out until next year. So we'll just see what adjustments happen. But based off the demo, it's been great. But nonetheless, I'll still be playing Mario Kart World, and the adjustments they did here, especially with the count of the Peach switches and the Peach medallions, that was a big adjustment. I had no idea how many I had collected at all, and I had no idea how long I have to go. Like, I'm nowhere close to getting all these Peach switches and those medallions. I am way off. I got work to do.
Okay. Anyone else have thoughts?
I think it's great for the Mario Kart community, for the people that folks that were upset. I'm happy for you. It's a good win. I've enjoyed the game regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I do know that was a real sticking point. As far as the timing of it, I mean, you got to say it's perfect timing.
Yeah, I will say. It feels kind of intentional. Yeah.
I like that. I like it. Look, hey, I played Sonic Racing. I played in the beta back in February, and I enjoyed it. I'll be getting a review code for it on Switch 2 when it releases, whenever it's going to be, but this holiday. And, I'll be interested to check it out. It's a good game. Obviously, I enjoyed Mario Kart more based on what I had played. However, both good games, and competition is good. We all know this. Mm-hmm. We talk about it all the time. Talk about the sports genre, right? We wish there was competition. Well, now we got it. And there were rumors not too long ago about Crash coming out on the next gen consoles with next gen performance patch. So, then you could throw that hat in the ring, and then we already got Garfield card out there. So, bring on more kart racers is the point.
Hell yeah.
Competition's good, man. So I'm happy. And if they did it on purpose, I think that's great, especially after the commercial Sega put out. Like, dude, love it.
Yeah, that made me so
love
happy.
The 90s, fighting. I love that, dude. The console war, like the OG console war, not the modern day tribalism bullshit.
Yeah,
like
the lame-o war.
Yeah, exactly. The war that doesn't need to be fought. The OG console war, though, was whether you were on one side or the other, or you liked both, which I did. It was very entertaining back then, and it was tasteful in a sense on how they poked at each other.
We used to hash it out in the schoolyard, man, during recess.
It was clever back then. Sega had really clever ads, so I appreciate it. Their commercial poking Nintendo, because please poke the bear, man. Yes, you do that, we're gonna get a better Mario Kart World. So I'm all for it.
It almost feels like siblings poking each other back in the day. Just giving each other shit.
Yeah, that's great, dude.
It was
getting cracked by frying pans and
But
the 90s console war was the best, man. And I remember being a kid and like kids, you know, a kid coming up to me and being like, Sega's way better. And I loved both. I had the Sega consoles and the Nintendo consoles, but Sega's way better. Nintendo's for kids. Sega's more adult. It's like, yeah, dude, if you think that boogers, farts, and boobs are more adult, it's like the most adolescent things ever that Sega represented.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. We have one other piece of news. This happened sort of during the show a little bit. Nintendo dropped a new mobile game.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just out of nowhere. Just been playing a little bit of it just in the little tutorial area, so I haven't really done a whole lot because I'm in the middle of a show, you know, Nintendo, not the best time to drop a mobile game, but I'm gonna throw it out there. It's like the second Fire Emblem game they dropped. I guess people are liking it so far, so just tossing it out there. I don't know if this is a way to help promote, obviously, the new Fire Emblem coming next year. We know about Fortune's Weave. You know how they like to tie games together like that, so it could be a tie in there, so we'll see, but kind of cool, I guess. Nintendo's still dropping new mobile games. They haven't dropped a new one in a while, so
yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got it downloaded right here. I haven't played it yet, but
yeah, I'll play it a little bit. I'm sure it's fine. I like Fire Emblem, and the last one they had on mobile I thought was pretty good. So
this one's supposed to be Fire Emblem with a deduction element to it.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So it's interesting. I don't really play cell phone games, but it's a Nintendo IP that I love and care about. So like I have with the previous Nintendo cell phone games, it's worth a download and you know, check it out for a couple hours. Who knows? Maybe this will be the one that hooks me.
Yeah, I thought Heroes was fine. Heroes was fine. The last Fire Emblem one they did, I thought that one was fine. I didn't stick with it for more than a month, but it was fine. And then I just, the gotcha stuff got a little old for me. But then, I thought Pocket Camp, I thought that was really good. They did a really good job with Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. So, I think this is all obviously just related to get Fire Emblem running in people's minds, get people playing the game, get ready to use a little cross between this game and the Switch 2 one for promotion purposes. Just like they did with Tour,
kind of get that fire started.
Yeah, there it is. All right. I didn't really have to talk much about it because we haven't even touched the thing, but it was kind of crazy because again, Shadow Drop, no real hype, just here it is. Of course, mobile games can sometimes get away with that, but it's a little different on the mobile space than console.